All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Just want to make sure I have a good mic sound coming over. Just want to do a quick mic check before we get started. All right, excellent. Thank you, guys. All right, folks, good morning. Hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you're all having a good morning today. Let's get this week on the roll. So right now, quickly looking at the gappers list, looking very light at the moment. Not much going on there, just showing MU here, our buddy, so we'll look into that. And then as usual, if you're joining us for the first time, we'll go over our NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers, and then we'll see what you guys have on your end. And today we definitely are going to need your help because as you can see here, let me share a screen here. As you can see here, it's looking pretty light this morning. So Norris should be joining us in a few minutes, and then we'll give him some time to get going, and then we'll go over some of the news and updates we have for this week. I think earnings season is about to begin, so we should hopefully have a better watch list throughout the week. All right, so let's look in here. Let's see what we have. Let's start over with MU, which is the only one on this list, and then we'll go over AMD and all that stuff. So let's look at MU, see what's causing some of the action this morning. Again, just been on a beautiful tear. Look at this daily chart on MU, just nicely doing these great patterns here. Nice pullbacks to the moving averages, catching us some support and then going higher every single time on the daily. Today we're gapping up 441,000 shares traded on MU, so that's some great volume. You can see here, just going back to March and April, some good areas of resistance that we just been breaking out of, right? So you had this one line here right below 44, around 43.50ish or so, a great line of resistance that we just broke out of. And then the next possible resistance we have is probably going to be this gap here and this high of this day here where we dropped off. So again, MU just been trading very, very nice on the daily. Right now, pre-market action not looking great, but that is normal for a stock like this one. Good morning, Norm. How you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing, Carlos?
Doing good, doing good. I forgot my headphones at home, so if you speak and you hear some feedback, let me know, and I'll do the best I can to bring the gain down. So I got you on my speakers this morning. Good, man. Glad you're doing good. So just going over MU here, just kind of talking about how great this stock has been on the daily. Again, just popping up pretty nice here.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of days, and today gapping up another 3%, 443,000 shares traded at the moment. So if you're ready to go for the news, Norm, I'll hand it over to you. If not, we can come back to it after you settle in a bit.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on this morning. SPY's of almost 0.25%. Like you guys were already talking about with MU, it got upgraded by Goldman. I'll have my eye on what's going on with the rest of the semis, see if we can find some other things with maybe some sympathetic moves. MU's already moved a lot, so we'll see what's there. This morning, as far as economic data, there's really there's not a ton. Just the Chicago Activity Index. It's about it. This week really doesn't get kicked off with economic data till Wednesday and Thursday. There's a decent amount of stuff coming out. And then, of course, we've got really our big earnings start coming out this week with I think 10 of the 30 Dow companies and something like 125 or 130 of the S&P 500 companies are reporting. So should be a fairly decent week, like we've discussed. Earnings are kind of the rate at which earnings come out in the summer for second quarter. It's kind of compressed into a short period of time before we slow down a little bit again in August. So that's kind of what's going on at this moment that I'm seeing.
All right, gotcha. So just in speaking about the semis here, I just added AMD. AMD is getting some serious volume right now, as you can see here on the 5 minute. So I'm going to add this on here as well. Not doing as great as MU is this morning. It's kind of pretty flat at the moment, but again, we know they're going to get the volume. So on a day like this where we don't have a lot of gappers, it'll be a good one to keep on the list. Let's quickly go through the NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers. Let's see what we can pull out of this bunch here. TRNX, as we know, guys, a penny stock, not really tradable. It's gapping up 80% today. But again, really trades like garbage. Not something you want to be trading. NTEC, also another penny stock. Actually, and this one actually is dropping down quite a bit now, but it's going into very dangerous territory now, under a buck. So you want to be very, very careful with this one. Traded 1.9 million shares so far this morning. Pretty flat action. So they must have had some type of news on this one, Norm. NTEC. What's the float on this one? So this is 33 million shares flow. Actually, we looked at this one. Yeah, we looked at this one. I believe it was probably on this date here. But yeah, we looked at this one before in the past. Again, it's just been on a beautiful downtrend. But again, it's getting under that dollar price range, which is tough.
They had some positive trial results, I guess, on a Parkinson's disease. Or excuse me, negative. I'm losing my mind this morning. Sorry.
Yep. No, it could have been positive and have this type of outcome. We've seen that before. Positive news and you still drop. So all good, man. But yeah, so they're not doing too great right now. And again, we looked at this one before. It doesn't trade very well. So I'm just gonna skip it for now, guys. It's really under a buck, and really stocks under a dollar are something we don't trade often, and our strategies don't work best for stocks that are trading under a dollar. So that's another reason why we really don't focus on those type of tickers. FCEL here, also another penny stock that's been making some noise over the last couple of days. Got some volume going on here, and then it kind of popped up. This some nasty consolidation here in this daily, and then we're having a drop back under the range that it was trading at, around 40 cents, 33 cents. So not really tradable. It has the volume, 875,000 shares traded, but again, just not really a stock that's trading well. DRRX, also another penny stock, so we'll skip that one. SLS, we all know this is a penny stock also. Eric is on here. This is Ericsson, the communications company. So let's see what's going on with them today. They had a nice drop on this day here. It was in our gapper scanners. It has some news. It had a beautiful drop here. Doesn't move much, but on a day like this where you have a drop from 887 all the way down to 840, you know, you could possibly take a move out of this. And I remember the open on this one because I did trade this one for open range breakdown, and it traded very, very well. Actually got out too early. So bouncing back now here, consolidating a bit, but not much. The activity doesn't look great. It looks like it's just a one block trade, really. There's not much activity on the 5-minute. I do see some huge orders in here. So again, not much going on at the moment. If that gets better, guys, throw it out to us. QQQ is a NASDAQ ETF, which is again slightly up, not by much. MU MU is doing great today, up 2.8, some good volume. AMD I'm adding on here, also cranking in some volume at 443,000 shares traded so far. And then CUI is also a penny stock that pops up into the scanners often, but again, just not really tradable. Look at this here, popping up to 150, now down to 90 cents. So not really something that's really tradable. Next, NASDAQ gainers, SLRX is it's this this looks weird. I only have one candle on this, like if it opened up today or something. So I'm not sure if anybody else is seeing the same thing. So we'll skip that one for now. SKIS, what do we have here? So this looks like a buyout. Okay, Nikki's just confirming as well. Peak Resorts to be acquired by Vail Resorts. All right, so this definitely looks like a buyout. It does not look like one that's tradable neither. It looks pretty low on the volume as well. So just looking at the daily, also if you look at the daily alone, even on a regular basis, it does not trade well at all. So very flat on the daily charts as well. So again, buyout doesn't look great. I'm going to skip this one unless, Norm, you tell me if there's any other news on here that could be interesting.
No, nothing.
Excellent.
Nothing look tradable to me.
Yeah, we'll skip that then. BIOC pops up into our scanners quite often. It has several days where it has some beautiful pops here. But again, this is really low flow, low stock. I'm not sure if it's a low flow, but it's a very low price stock. It doesn't trade clean, so you got to be very careful with it. It doesn't move much neither. For this move here, yeah, it's going from 125 to 163, but for the type of risk you're taking, you know, it might not be worth holding for that couple of cents. You can get that type of movement in a regular mid to large flow stocks, right? So no point in playing around with these stocks that don't trade very well, and also our strategies might not trade well in these type of stocks. VIOC, also you can see it doesn't have good pre-market activity at the moment, although it has some volume, so skip that one. Next we have BT AI, no volume. JMMU, nothing going on. BIOC we looked at. XBIO, also one that tends to be pretty much on this list more often than not, and you can see here just not trading very well, no volume. MDGS, nothing going on, no activity. IDEX, also nothing happening here. VLRX also looking like crap, and FRSX also nothing going on here, no volume. So that's what we have on those two lists, guys. Let's look at some of our favorites. We have another one popping up here. We have DBA. Let's see what DBA is up to. So DBA is up 5.7, 110,000 shares traded. So not much volume at the moment, but it does have a nice, has a pretty interesting daily chart here. Had a nice little drop probably 2 weeks ago, and now we're coming back nicely into the consolidation range that it have, and now we're popping up 5.7. Any interesting news going on this one, Norm, that we should be aware of?
I think they pre-released some second quarter operating info, so they didn't report full earnings, but I think they upped what their profit for second quarter might be. So,
gotcha. Well, so you can see here, this pre-market action is not looking great at all. Go ahead.
The other thing too is I believe they announced either a buyback or an increased buyback of stock as well. So,
gotcha.
It's a combo of things in there.
Gotcha. So right now, pre-market activity, guys, is not looking great. The volume coming in now, this 110. It looks like it's all sitting on this one block trade here, right? So this block trade is costing majority of the ruckus this morning. Probably 110,000 shares traded right in here. At least 100,000 shares traded right in there. This should be somewhere in here. You can see 75 of it right there. So not really much going on at the moment. We'll keep it on here just in case we can get something out of it. The daily chart looks decent, though. It looks like it does have some movement to it, but this pre-market action doesn't look great. It is a nicey stock, so sometimes these stocks tend to not have a great pre-market action. So we'll keep it on here and see what else we can get out of that. Norm, how does your top four looking today? Anything interesting on Facebook?
Oh, I've had my eye on NVIDIA sitting right at the 200-day moving average for a few days in this consolidation period. So I'm waiting to see when it breaks out. Not really doing much this morning. It's up 0.5% on about 41,000 shares. As we know, Roku was on fire last week. So I have my eye on that. It's pulled down. Went as high as, I want to say, close to 114. 113.44 was the high. It was an all-time high hit last week. It's pulled down 107.25 this morning, and it's sitting just above the 9 on the daily. So consolidating right there. It'll be interesting to see what it does, if it tests that 9 and bounces or what happens. If you go back and look at the chart, the daily on July 15th, you'll see it did just that, came down, tested the daily intraday, and then bounced off of it in the next days when it had that huge rally. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Facebook's just broken through its 9 moving average. See if that holds. Maybe it drops, pulls down to the 20. Could be a few dollar move. And then Apple's just hadn't really been doing much the last few days. It dropped pretty well on Friday. I wasn't trading. But other than that, not a whole lot, just kind of chopping around for the last week or so.
Yeah, I got to say, Apple out of all four probably on the day doesn't look as great over the last couple of days, right? It's just kind of chopping around here. While Facebook is, popping up nicely. Roku has been having a monster run, and NVIDIA also trading really nice. Look at that. I mean, just look at this trend. It's just almost textbook here, So looking forward to these two. See if this week is going to be the week where they go one way or the other. I mean, we got a big resistance here on NVIDIA, but it looks very interesting if we can break out of that. All right, guys, what do you guys have on your end? Let's take a look at the chat and see what's looking good.
I do like Carlos, as far as off my 4 that I watch all the time. Check Applied Materials. The ticker's AMAT. I think that's a Sympathy move off MU, and then also Marvell Technologies is gapping down a bit. It doesn't have much in terms of volume yet, but I've just kind of got my eye on it because it's going the other direction from what a lot of this stuff is. MRVL is the ticker on that last one.
MRVL, yeah, I see that on here. The day looks good. This drop looks nice. So it'll be interesting if they can get the volume. This will be nice. Right now, pre-market activity not looking great, but the daily looks interesting. And I agree with you on AMAT too. So Applied Materials here is It's also been on a nice little uptrend also. So will be interesting to see what happens there. Again, not much volume on these two guys, but we're aware of it. But on a day like today where our gappers list is so light, this could be some ones that we can actually watch today and see if we can get a great move out of them. Let's look over at a DVN. So DVN, Devon Energy. Okay, so yeah, no volume right now, guys. Pretty dead on the volume. Daily, I see what you're looking at here on this one. Daily's sitting right on these levels, right? Just bouncing off of that. So it could be a great one if it can go, if it can break out of this. But right now the activity is just not great at all. Pre-market action. Next we have GLPG. I'm sorry, GLPC. GLPG. Oh no, GLPG. I had it right the first time. So GLPG here. All right, looks like we had our eye on this one before when it had this huge gap up here. So today is popping up another 4.2% after consolidating over 4 days. Let's see what the action looks like now. Right now, pretty light on the volume. But you know what? Let's go back and see how this actually traded on the days that it popped. Because the daily chart, it doesn't look too great like it trades well. I see we have some.
Yeah, it's a foreign this is a foreign company out of Belgium, so a lot of the companies out of there are not great to trade.
Yeah, so I mean, here you can see it has a nice drop, and then you get this beautiful drop here and some volume. The scary part about this, again, doesn't move a lot, doesn't move well, and if you get caught on the wrong side on a drop like this where there's no volume at all, and this is scary. I don't like this with no volume. And then somebody comes in and decides to just dump 38,000 shares on you. This could really hurt. So don't like the way this one trade, guys, right now. Volume is not there. If it gets better, we can definitely take a look at it. But just like you said, if it's a foreign stock, it doesn't really trade very well. And we're seeing that even on days that are over the last couple of days. We have HAL, HAL. What do we have going on here? So not much activity right now. Pre-market action not looking great. Let's take a look at what we have on the daily. Daily is also sitting a very nice support here. Kind of bounced off from that. So I see what you're looking at. This does look interesting for a possible a bounce back at least to 23 maybe, hopefully, if it can get going. So the daily looks interesting, but the pre-market action right now doesn't look great on volume. But this could be a great possible based off the daily chart and a possible bounce. Next we have BYND. What has this one been up to? All right, so
beyond the meat.
Yeah, not a great pre-market activity at the moment. Right now, daily just seems to be consolidating. I mean, not consolidating, just kind of a nice little uptrend. So we're in an area now of some really interesting resistance right over here, almost slightly above where the previous day close is. If it can break out of that, right, you got a level here that you can hit around 190, and obviously you got the all-time high sitting over here at 200 and something. So again, very interesting daily chart though, guys. But right now it's not looking great on the pre-market activity. But if it hits our scanners, the one thing for me personally, I won't tune into it because I just don't like the way this one trades. It trades very erratic. It's not easy to trade. Sometimes the spreads could be very horrible as well. But I see what you're looking at the daily. The daily looks nice. Been riding these moving averages, and it's now coming to a point where it's kind of building some kind of wedge here where it can pop out, towards the top if it has the strength to do so. Next we have AMAT. We have LCRX. LCRX. All right, did I get that right? LCRX. Yeah, that one's not coming up for me.
LRCX.
Oh, it's LRCX. Okay, let's try that. Here we go. Okay, so this one on here, what do we have? So we have a daily chart that seems to be popping up nicely here. We got it's up 2.8. Not great volume at the moment, but it is coming towards some levels we have up here. So not great volume so far. I see the daily chart looks a little funky though, but you could clearly see some levels of levels of support and resistance, and we kind of broke out of that probably the last 2 days, and we're probably getting this pop here. Not sure if there's any news on this or what's causing this pop here on 2.8, but the pre-market activity right now is pretty flat at the moment.
I believe the MU upgrade by Goldman also had a couple of other stocks in it, including Lam Research right here.
Oh, excellent. Okay, oh, that makes perfect sense. Um, so yeah, so then what I'll do is something like this. I will definitely just watch MU because it's a better price stock and it looks like it's gonna have a lot more volume opposed to Lam Research. So I'll watch MU instead. But this one looks like it's again has a although it seems a little choppy, it does have a nice daily chart for some reason. It's very clear you can see what the levels of support and resistance are, and that's important to be able to understand that. Let's look at another one, KLAC. KLAC, not much activity at the moment, but man, this thing's been on a tear as well. Look at this bounce back from June, hitting some bottoms here, just riding these moving averages just perfectly. So, Abel, you're looking at this one today. This one looks interesting. Not much going on right now, but I see what you're looking at on the daily. Had a great breakout on Thursday. Kind of a pullback here, more of a consolidation period. Just kind of see what's the next step, and they're gapping up quite a bit today, 1.8. So it'll be interesting. We'll be interested to see what that one does. So Abby, if you see something happen there, definitely call it out to us. I'm not going to add it to my list because the volume is not there right now. But if it hits our turbo breakdown, turbo breakout, we can definitely tune into it. Okay, what else? What else, guys? Netflix. Let's look at Netflix. Pets. Pets. Pets.
Oh, Pets is looking pretty decent, actually.
Pets has got a nice activity starting here. Only 115,000, but it's starting to get going. Any news on this one this morning?
Yeah, they had some terrible earnings they reported just a little while ago.
All right, excellent. So they're sitting right at a level of support right in here. That's where the price action is right now. So yeah, I do like this one. This is looking interesting. Let's throw this on here. It should be coming into. Oh yeah, there it is. Should be coming to our. I was gonna say it should be coming to our gappers list because it's over 100,000 shares traded so far. So this is looking interesting. Pre-market activity is looking nice as well. Hopefully, we can continue to develop this way with some more volume. Yeah, Pets, PETS. That's the one we're talking about. Next, we have GLPG. We looked at.
Check Luck and Coffee, LK.
Okay.
So, yeah, so this is if you zoom on, this didn't IPO too long ago. I believe it was early April, maybe. But check out the daily and roll it all the way back so you get the entire view. I called this out a few weeks ago with this crazy this wedge pattern, which is nice. Almost perfect if you get it in the right time frame. It looks just like an arrow. It's amazing. Yeah, and it kind of you could have done a swing trade on it. Of course, you would have had no way which way it was going to go. Really, as it narrowed to that point, whether it broke above 20 or below, let's say like 1850 or 19, it looks like it might just go crazy one way or the other at some point. It's still really in that range. It's broken above just a little bit, but it failed to break out.
Yeah, this is looking very interesting, very on the daily chart. So yeah, this definitely worth watching this today. I mean, it doesn't have great volume at the moment, but this looks like it really wants to. For some reason, I'm long bias on it. I think it's going to break out to the long side, but it can go either way, as you mentioned here. But yeah, this will be has a great daily. So we'll throw this on here for now as a possible for later in the morning, or if we get it in our turbo breakdown, if volume starts coming in early this morning, can probably get this going one way or the other. What else, guys? So let's look at Netflix. All right, so what do we have here on Netflix? So Netflix, again, huge drop last week. We had some fun with this on Netflix, and the following day followed through, also broke down nicely. Today we're down again, so these guys are getting hammered. They're down slightly, not much, 0.5%. 98,000 shares right now, so not much volume. I'm gonna remove these levels so we can get a clean view here. So if you go back on the daily, where are we sitting here? Are we sitting some kind of levels? Yeah, we're kind of at the point where we had some resistance and support back in January. It looks like January, maybe early February. So interesting daily. Not much activity right now, but these guys I think are definitely going to be in play for the next couple of days because just this sheer drop here is just a huge drop for these guys. So we'll see what comes out of it. We can throw it on here for now, and then when we finalize our list, I won't be trading it just because of the price. I tend to like stuff that's a little lower price. No reason, just preference really. It's not wrong with trading high price stocks. All right, guys. So this is what we have. Anything else that we might have missed? I think this is it for now. BA. Let's look at BA. Not much going on in BA. Actually opening up pretty flat, sitting right on the previous day close. Again, daily's just kind of at the point of this last area of resistance. So the price action sitting right on. They had a big day Friday, right, bouncing back and hitting right on that level, 377-ish area. So again, but not much going on right now. We could get a continuation day today if it can be strong enough to bounce back, or keep heading up or bounce back down. So we'll see what it does today in our scanners. But again, this is one that I prefer not to trade, not because of the higher price, because just the way it trades doesn't trade clean for me. It reminds me of a BYND kind of style. So it's just very difficult for me to find a good pattern to get in on these. All right, folks, let's get into some announcements. Then we'll come back and look at this list and see what we can pull out of here that looks great. If something else comes up that looks that's starting to look decent, definitely throw it out in the chat as well.
All right, man. So we've got a full slate of classes this week. Starting class 1, class 2 tonight are going to be at 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern, respectively. I believe Robert's doing class 1. You'll be doing class 2. And then tomorrow night, class 3 and 4 at 8 and then 9 p.m. as well. I think that, what is it, Thursday? Is it Thursday that you're doing class 5, Carlos?
Yeah, class 5 might be moved because we also have, I believe, lifetime webinar at that time.
That might be tweaked, and so we'll update that as it comes. You and I are going to be doing a workshop Wednesday in the classroom at noon together. This one is, the title's The Beginning Trader's Learning Curve, Dealing with Challenges, Frustrations, and Common Problems. So, this is going to be, I would say, largely a Q&A. We are putting some material together, working on together to come up with some things to discuss, but also, kind of a Q&A to see. We'll try to lead the conversation. We'll let you guys, we'll all work together to see what different problems people have and how we can solve them. And then William's going to do one of his primetime trade reviews also on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Excuse me, my notes. I couldn't read my own handwriting. Then that, like Carlos mentioned, we've got a lifetime webinar, 8 p.m. on Thursday. We've got a YouTube Live Ask Me Anything, I believe, August 1st. So that should be interesting as well. William, I believe, will be interviewing Jeremy Newsom in an AMA format. So take a look there. I think we already have the link created. If you look in the posts, if you look in the alerts up top, ABL's posted a link to that. And then we're also working on the discussion/podcast with Brett Steenbarger, world-renowned trading psychologist and author. So post your questions in the forum that ABL has linked to. We want to try to keep it as orderly as possible. As we know, just for instance, from the AMAs that we do on YouTube, it can get a little out of hand with how the questions come and get thrown. So trying to have a little bit of a format in that cleans it up and makes it more streamlined and efficient. And then we've got a couple of meetups coming up. Pasadena, July 27th. There's a forum and a Facebook post. And then August 2nd in Phoenix. That seems like a lot. Am I missing anything that you're aware of, Carlos?
I think you got it all, man. Yeah, we do have a lot going on, which is great. So yeah, I think you got it all.
Well, and I'll just throw out two more things. If you're in YouTube watching us and you haven't tried out the chat room, when we obviously with the YouTube stream, we kill at 9:15 Eastern after we select our watch list and everything like that. But we are live in the room at variabletraders.com all day, trading live from Andrew to Brian, myself, Peter, trade reviews with William. This is Monday, I believe Brian will be doing his swing trading discussion this afternoon, which is 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern, just before the close of the market in the room. So we've got all that great content. If you want to come check it out for a week for a discounted rate, you can use the promo code premarket24, premarket24, no spaces. and use that promo code, and you'll get a discount off of the trial membership that does not renew if you want to come try us out for a week. And then also, thank you guys. When the room goes live in the morning, everybody knows it gets really busy. So if you don't have anything directly trading related, if you're asking questions about platforms or brokers platforms, anything that's not specifically about a trade, a setup, or something of that nature, please post in the off comment, and we will get to that. So.
All right, excellent. Now we've got a few questions in both chats, YouTube and also in our chat room about the classes. So the classes, they're live at the times that Norm mentioned, but we also have recordings in the education center. So if you cannot make those classes, you can watch the recording at a later time of your convenience. So Education Center has all the classes 1 through 5, and you can watch them there as well. But it's nice to come live because then you can ask questions at the end of each class. We stick around for 10-15 minutes, answer some questions, go back to whatever slides were probably not too clear, you still have some questions on, and it's more interactive. So if you can make it, it's the way to go. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Let's start at the top. Let's start with MU again. We started with a very slow morning with only MU in our gappers list. We have a few more now on here that we already have on our list that we're going to go through and see what we're going to keep. If you see something that looks great, that has some good volume and a good pre-market action, throw it out to us, and we'll come back to it after we're done with this one here. So let's start over with MU. MU again, it's just been incredible, just very great to trade. And again, we talk about waiting those 15, even up to an hour in some cases, and then it goes in this beautiful trend trade. So keep that in mind. If at the open you see the volume come in, you see that rush, but you don't see your signals and your strategy for you to get in on, just wait, keep it on there, wait 30 minutes, wait to an hour. We saw AMD and MU a couple of times last week. After an hour, after 30 minutes, after 45 minutes, they just had this beautiful trend, either losing the VWAP or leaving the VWAP, right, heading towards the top. So be patient on these setups. So here we have a MU. I'm going to remove some of these levels. High of the pre-market at the moment. Let me bring my pen over here. 1 second, guys. All right, here we go. So high of the pre-market at the moment sitting at what's this? We're looking at 47.33. So we'll mark that down. Low of the pre-market sitting around 46.60. So that's a good area right there. And then towards the bottom, guys, I think you have plenty. You have the last trading day. We clearly have this area here where you have the highs at 46, got the previous day close, and then you also have some moving averages and highs and lows below this 45. So plenty of levels there. Don't need to add any more. Towards the top, if we can get above this 47.33, which we have here, which obviously we've been breaking all kinds of resistance. We broke it here as well over the last couple of days. Let's go back and see what's the next level above this pre-market high. Yeah, so here on August of last year, it's the last time we were in this territory. So towards the top, clearly you have this gap here. I'm going to mark that down. That is 49.19. I don't think we'll get up there, but I'm going to have that down just in case. But the best one I can clearly see here, guys, is this one right here at 48.40. 48.40 is a great area. You got this nice pop here. It's way too big. Still too big. Okay, what's going on with the size? Here we go. All right. So right over here, you got this nice drop at 48.40. You can also see how 48.40 has been tested here on this day and here also. So again, that will be the next area of support towards the top, of resistance towards the top. So that's what we have on MU right now. Pre-market action looking pretty choppy, but we do have some great volume on MU. And as we know, this is a lot for MU. MU usually does not start trading that well in the morning, so I expect to get some good action out of this one today. Here we have AMD. AMD's daily chart not as clean as MU. MU's been on a true tear, but this one also is not that bad. You got a nice double bottom kind of happening here. This is a little lower than this one, so not perfect. But then it comes here, tests this support, this resistance again, comes back down and just rises, moving average breaking out through this previous level of resistance, right? So that's nice. Pops up here again, you got resistance right here as well, comes down, then breaks out of it again. Now we're back down the last 3 days, including today. It's just been consolidating right in this area here, but we're holding this previous day close. So again, the daily looks interesting, guys. Pre-market action right now for AMD doesn't look great, surprisingly so. We expect something better out of it today, but it's not looking great. It does got some volume, but we are going to watch it because again, it can give you some good opportunities, especially as I mentioned earlier. Wait that 30 minutes, 15 minutes, even up to an hour for it to settle in. As far as levels, we're going to keep this one here, 31.79, which we have from before. It's a very clean level of support and resistance, just right on there. Does not get better than that. You have another one right up here, 32.14. You can see this 32.14 is the top of this day here and this day as well. You have a moving average coming in right in between these two, previous day close and the 32.14. I'm not going to mark it, but we're going to look out for that moving average. I am a little long bias on this, the way this is setting up right now. Again, every time it hits this previous day close, it bounces back, except on this date. But you had a nice red day here that did not break down through this, and now we're bouncing back from it. Towards the top, you have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, so we'll keep those on there. You could mark the previous the high of the pre-market right now at 32.96. I think we're going to be breaking that soon here. But let's put it down, 32.96 high of the pre-market, and then you have an area right over here, the highs of the last 2 trading days. If we couldn't break out of that, which is probably not possible today, depending on what type of market activity we're going to get overall in the overall market, the next one will be 34, will be the next level. You have 2 days really sitting on this, bouncing off this level here, where you can have some clear resistance on AMD. So we'll see what AMD does today. Pretty choppy pre-market action right now, but we know as usual we are going to get the volume out of this AMD here. DBA, so this is the one that's again just has a good daily chart. Pre-market action is not looking great. Volume starting to creep in here. But again, it's just I'm not sure what type of trading we're going to get out of this one. I've never seen the way this one trades. Right now, pre-market activity is not looking great. A lot of the volume sitting on this one candle here. So I'm going to throw this down here as a possible. Two reasons why. Because if it can get the volume, the daily looks great. Right, this daily looks very, very nice here. It's broke out of this resistance it had here. It's popping up 6.5. So if it can get the volume, we can probably get a breakout. And also, I'm curious to see how this stock trades because I've never seen this one before. So 2 reasons why I'm keeping this one on here for a possible, but I'm not going to watch it closely. Pets looks very interesting, guys. Has a decent pre-market action. Not great. This is more like a 5 out of 10, right? It's got a nice little drop here. It's got a bounce and it's kind of consolidating here. Not great volume right now as we approach 9:07 Eastern time. But the daily looks interesting. The daily, we have a nice drop here all the way down. A low of the pre-market sitting at 34.51. So we'll mark that down. And then we have a nice level slightly below where the price action is now. This 15.45, you can see here the support on several days. Even this one here dips below and then it comes right back up. Same thing here, same thing here. So again, that 15.45 is a very interesting support. And I'm going to mark down this one as well because on the day that we did break out from this level here, we came down all the way to 15. Between 15 and 13.54 is obviously a very big range. I want to try to find something in between there if this thing has ever been down here. Are we sitting at all-time low on this thing? Might be. Let's go back. Oh, no. It looks like we have some prices that are a lot lower. All right, we're going back really back now. We're going back to 2015. So again, these levels, once you start going this far back, they might lose some weight as much as we can put into it. But I'm going to mark down this one here. We have a nice little drop and then a bounce back around 14.41. I'm just going to mark that on there. But again, be aware that this level is very old. I rather watch 14.50, right? At 14.50, these whole dollar numbers, you are going to get some kind of loss of momentum or some kind of profit taken if this thing decides to drop and people are short. So be on the lookout for that. But we'll keep 14.41 here just as a reference. Towards the top, guys, plenty of levels. Just look right in here where your price action is. You have the low from yesterday, the low from the low from the last trading day, which is Friday, the low from Thursday. Previous day close, we have moving averages in here as well. So again, a lot of resistance towards the top. We'll see if we can get back through these and break out of this all these resistance we have towards above the price action. So that's pets right now, guys. Again, pre-market action is not looking too great, but I do love the daily chart. We have a beautiful drop here, and we're back up. It's funny, we're back up to the point of where support has been very good. This is the support around 15.45 has been great. So we dipped here and we're right back up to that area. We'll have to see how this one opens up. All right, so let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA, not much activity right now. Roku is Roko's daily chart is amazing. Facebook not doing much. Out of the top four, I think Nvidia is one to watch, and so I'm gonna put down Nvidia here, and I think Roku. I like Roku as well. I'll remove Facebook and Apple for now. Let's look at Netflix, see what we have coming out of Netflix. Netflix daily looks interesting, guys. Again, if we can get the volume here, it looks like it just wants to go down for another leg. But I'm not going to watch this one simply because the price action is just not in my criteria, what I like to trade. But let's go back and find some levels. Last time we were around this area was in, looks like January, right? So we have a level right in here. Next possible level 302.05. Below this, we seem to have an area of around 281.97. Again, I don't think we're going to drop this much, but these are the clean areas and levels of support that we're seeing. I mean, look at this 302, right? It's 302 clearly and a huge area of support. I mean, look at the days just coming right to this level at 302. So also area of resistance. Look at this one here, almost getting to that 302 and then reversing back. So again, keep in mind these levels are an area, they're not exact. So keep that in mind as well as you're trading. Let's look at AMAT. AMAT's a great possible, guys. I do like the daily on this one. Look at how this beautiful uptrend is heading up today. So they're moving based on some. What was the news on this one, Norm? Well, the reason why they're moving?
Was the Goldman upgrade on a few in the semiconductor space, and that's the same reason MU's moving as well.
Gotcha. Yes. Thank you for the reminder there. So I'm gonna mark down high of the pre-market here, guys, 49.38. Low of the pre-market, very close to where a lot of the highs from the last 2 days are sitting at, 43.80.83. We'll mark that down. Let's go back and see what else we have towards the top, towards the bottom. I can see we could find some levels there. But I want to scroll back here. Yep, here we have an area, right? Yes, this is perfect here, guys. This is all you need. This one up here, 50.36, beautiful area of possible resistance. So that level is great. Then towards the bottom, guys, I don't think you need to add anymore. You have one low of the pre-market. You have the highs from the last 2 trading days, and then you have the previous day close if we decide to go that low. So this could be a good possible, guys. It looks like on some days it doesn't trade very well, doesn't move much. You have a lot of days that have very small bodies, right? So unless you're in play and you got some direction, there's a lot of small bodies on the candlestick. So, and right now the pre-market actually is not looking good at all. So I'll wait for this one to hit our scanners. Actually, that's what I'm gonna do with AMAT. MRVL marble here. This marble has a beautiful daily, guys. Again, still doesn't have the volume though. Volume is very, very light. I'm not going to personally watch this, but I'm going to put some levels here and be ready for if it hits our turbo breakdown scanners. So we have 2501 is a level there. You can see several days coming right to that and then heading back down, then consolidating, finally breaking out of that. So it's sitting right on a level also 2501. So very nice level to put on there. Another one towards the bottom. See here, clearly you have a range right in here, right? You clearly have a range happening in here. So I'm gonna mark down the last low of this range was 2403. Again, it's a long way down. I don't think you're gonna have that type of movement today, but 2405 clearly is an area of support and resistance. You got several days on there using that area of support and resistance. So that'll be great. Also slightly above this moving average that's kind of curling up a bit. So we'll see what we can get out of that. Towards the top, guys, I'm going to mark down the high of the pre-market, very close to the low of the last trading day, which was Friday. And then from there, you got plenty of levels. Highs and lows, previous day close between 25.75 and 26. So plenty of levels within this area. Don't need to add anymore. So hopefully it can get going because the daily looks amazing on this one, but we just need more volume. So hopefully we can get more volume out of MRVL this morning. LK's volume starting to creep up, so 73,000 shares now, still not at 100K. But as we spoke about earlier, we were talking about how just look how this is setting up. I mean, it's just clearly coming into a point here. Again, not the straightest line, but if you get what I'm looking at. So in here, it looks like it's kind of setting up for a pop or a drop. It can go either way. But the daily charts is kind of setting up real nice. Right now doesn't have great pre-market activity. The volume is starting to slowly creep in, but again, not looking too great. I'm going to leave this one down here as well with marble for a possible. Yeah, Master Chief, you're all right. For some reason, I am long bias on it. It feels like it's just ready to pop. But if you look at the way the technicals are setting up, it can really go either way. But again, we'll have to see how this develops. DVA, we looked at this earlier. Yes, we did. You know what? I thought we put some levels on this, but let's put some levels just in case, guys. Right now, the volume is not the volume. The pre-market activity is not looking great, but I'm going to put some levels in here just as a possible. 58, 53. It's a great level. You can see on this beautiful up run, you know, you hit 58, 53, you come back down, you drop all the way to 50, then come right back up, hit 58, 53, and again, you bounce right back to 50. This time, the previous day close where it's at now, 56, holds it from dipping any further. So could be a good opportunity that is ready to go for another leg higher. So right now it is up 6.1, so that's quite a bit. High of the pre-market sitting at 59.72. Towards the bottom, plenty of levels. You don't have to add any more right in here. You got all, since it's been consolidating, you're going to have your previous day close, previous day highs and lows, all stuffed in that area there. Above this 59.72, which is your high of the pre-market. Look how this high of the pre-market is reacting to this as well. Back in February, it was a area of resistance. And then also here, look at going back to December, also you got an area of support and resistance as well around that 59.72. So let's try to get the best level possible. Obviously, this level is one here, very clear, right? This is an extreme level, comes right back down. I like this one right in here around 63.19. And then I'm going to mark this one also 61.01. So plenty of levels here, guys. You can see how these are reacting to the price action. So I'm going to keep those on there just in case. Again, this one right now is also going to be a possible. I am going to keep it down here. The only reason I am keeping this one is because I like the daily chart. Daily chart looks good, like it's ready to go for another leg up here. But again, the activity is not there just yet. All right, guys, so that is what we have. Do you guys have anything else that looks good that we should take a look at? HAL, we were looking at HAL. Why did this one come off the list? It is also popping up. Yeah, this is a good one. What I don't like about it right now, again, just the pre-market activity on a lot of these. Could be because it's a Monday, not sure what the reason is, but the pre-market activity just doesn't look great on a lot of these. I mean, this is not a great pre-market activity, as like some of the ones we have here also don't look great. But I do like the daily, guys, where it's bouncing off this area of these levels here. You got an area where it held for a couple of weeks, looks like, right, took off and then comes right back down and is holding again. So now we're at the point where we can get a bounce out of it. But again, pre-market activity is not looking great, so I'm going to keep it down here as possible. We'll get some levels in case we can get something out of it. High of the pre-market 22.40. Above this, we have a nice level here around 22.88. Very nasty daily chart here, guys. Here is not looking great, very choppy, so this is difficult to find good clean levels, right? But we have 22.38 and also 22.88. Good areas of possible of levels that we can have in our chart. So we'll keep it on here. Also, one thing about this, guys, doesn't move much, right? If you look at how it doesn't move much, so keep that in mind as well if you're going to trade this today. All right, so let's just take a quick look, guys, at what we have coming up on 9:15 Eastern time before we shut it down. We have MU here. So MU's, again, has a beautiful daily. Pre-market action doesn't look great, but that is typical MU. We have AMD here. Pre-market action tends to look better when it's in play. It does got some good volume. But today's pre-market action is not looking too exciting. The daily not as exciting as MU, but we've seen some really good moves. If you dig into the intradays out of MU, there's some days that if you wait that 30 minutes, you can catch a good move out of these. Pets is interesting on the daily. Doesn't look great on the pre-market action, guys. Again, just pretty flat, but the daily looks interesting here. So I'm going to take a look at that for today. Nvidia has a nice daily, but again, pre-market activity not looking awesome at all, and the volume not looking great. So depending on what Brian, Andrew, Norm, and everybody else in the mod team finalizes, I might take this one off and steal one of their stocks if it looks like it falls within my criteria. Roku is exciting to watch because we seem like we're always getting the Brian special on Roku. So Roku, what it tends to do is, and again, this is not, we're not saying this is going to happen. It tends to sell off at the early morning at the open, finds a bottom, and then gives you a quick pop towards the VWAP. We've seen this play over and over on MU. Again, doesn't mean that's going to happen, but I will be looking out for that on Roku if we can get that opportunity. And then Netflix, guys, again, also not a great pre-market activity, but look at this daily here. It looks like we're getting ready to go down for another leg. So we'll have to see how this opens. This has lost a lot of ground over the last over last week here. A beautiful drop, and has not given any sign of a bounce back yet. So will be interesting to look. The issue with this one for me is a very high price, so I tend not to like the stocks over 150. But this one, this one might be the exception today. All right, folks, and these are our possibles here. And that is all we have for today. Again, not the greatest watch list. A lot of low volume stocks here with not great pre-market activity, but anything is possible. Sometimes we have these crappy watch lists and we have a beautiful opening to the market. So Norm, anything else I missed before we shut it down?
No, that's you. I think you've covered everything. I think today might be scanners for me for the most part because I'm not real thrilled with anything I'm seeing.
Yeah, same here. I'm not through. I'm not through with a lot of these again, and a lot of these have a great daily, but not a good pre-market action, which is nice to see when you have a good pre-market action with some good activity and nice flow to it. All right, folks, that is all, guys. Trade safe. Let's start this week off right. Let's start strong. Let's be disciplined, and we will see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern time.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Trade safe. See you tomorrow.